which includes the guy that you're low on, which is my number 2, Christian Gonzalez. That's the guy you're lower on.
Yeah.
Really low on Christian Gonzalez, huh?
Yeah.
So we might as well just get our Christian Gonzalez discourse out of the way right now.
You give me your sales pitch on him, and then we'll circle back to him when we get there on my rankings, because it's going to take a while.
So this is where I'm saying I can manipulate the data any way that I want.
Handy.
In the pure sense of, is he an 80th percentile guy for me? No, he's a little bit below. He's about 70th. The combine numbers, all of his workout numbers are 90th percentile.
Yeah.
And that's where sometimes I lean, like that's where the elite players come from. So historically, if you look at, not like relative athletic score or anything like that, but just the way I've looked at it, when you take workout numbers, project them to wins above replacement, project them to WAR, you take those 90th percentile players at corner, your elite players are pretty much coming out of that group at a pretty high rate if they're drafted in the first round. So for me, it's this combination of, I liked enough of what I saw from Gonzalez on tape. Talk about that in a sec. The consensus to me matters a little bit in this stuff, right? Especially at corner, where it is tough to project. I think more voices matter. So I'm kind of like using that in the data in my head. And then the workout stuff. From an on-field standpoint, I get why you might not love him. Like I get it. To me, it's about what you value. I mean, I wrote down the word smooth about 5 times on him.
That's in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Disgustingly smooth was what was one of my bullets.
Yeah. I mean, as far as covering routes, where he's not smooth is in space with the Georgia game. Like there was missed tackles and he just, I wrote down the tackles. They're ugly. Lost in underneath zone, right? So there are definitely parts of his game that aren't great. Mm-hmm. But I think covering one-on-one and being at the catch point is the biggest win for Christian Gonzalez.
Yes.
Now, what you do at the catch point,
which I usually value very highly.
Yeah.
Like I've talked before in the NFL, certainly with young corners, like the first thing I would like to see is if that guy is generally in and around the catch point all the time, because I think that's like the most difficult step to get to being good is, can you get to that point every play? If you can get to that point, there's a lot of variance from there on in that can swing your way sometimes, right? So I think that's a big part of it. And like, I think he has that, like one full bullet point I have is like disgustingly smooth mover, mirrors and glides with receivers effortlessly. Like he's,
dude, I hate that we have the same wording. What did I say?
But it's true. Like that's what he is.
Glides for, at the time I said 6'2", 210. He's 6'1", 197. I said like, glides, bump and run looks smooth. And then I said, here's my second look of Christian Gonzalez, still smooth. Yeah. Right? So everything movement-wise is awesome.
And you could see that at the combine, whether it was running his 40, whether it was doing the movement drills. Like he just has the most fluid, slick movement skills of any corner in this draft. My problem is almost everything else.
Do you want to reveal how low you have him right now? Or we'll just kind of when we get there?
No, we'll do it when we get there.
All right. So I still said Gonzalez at 2. Definitely have my doubts. He's not exactly 1 year of production. It's just, solid production from Gonzalez. Part of it is banking on first-round corners that have that type of athleticism. I'm more willing to, ignore the production a little bit. And I'm going to do that later with another player. Not ignore the production, but ignore the hard production data.
Okay.
I liked Gonzalez enough on film that I'll put him at 2. So let's get your top 7 back up there again if we can.
So then we get to our Christian Gonzalez conversation.
Well, I didn't reveal my 6. So you've got Devin Witherspoon from Illinois, Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State, Brian Branch from Alabama, who's really a safety, Deontay Banks from Maryland, Cam Smith from South Carolina, Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. All right, we can finish your Christian Gonzalez discussion, and then we'll circle back and get my 6, and we'll show my list. Why do you have Christian Gonzalez at number 7?
So we already covered the good part of Christian Gonzalez, just absurdly smooth, mirrors, glides, everything he does looks effortless. The movement skills look amazing. He looks on the field the way he looked during the combine, whether it was running his 40 or doing the position drills. There's nobody in this class that looks as easy just moving around and sticking with receivers as he does. However, almost everything else isn't good. He's the Witherspoon thing where he's a step ahead of everything, like he knows what's coming a step before everybody else does, right? Whether it's on his own defense, whether it's the offense, he's always a step ahead. Gonzalez is late almost all the time. He's the opposite end of the spectrum. He's almost always a step behind everything that's happening. So he's got like a reasonable feel for zones and splitting threats and all that kind of stuff, but he's late doing anything about it. He's, again, the opposite problem that Joey Porter had, where he's like too early and jumps when he shouldn't. Gonzalez just doesn't react until it's too late. So he's like splitting perfectly these two spots and then just like watches the ball sail to one of them without moving. You're like, well, that's useless to me. I don't think he's anywhere near as physical as a lot of these other guys as well, like across the board. His movement skills are amazing. The athletic profile is going to make teams drool, but I actually think he's quite a big project.
Yeah, I mean, I put Gonzalez high. I want to say this about the same way we did about receivers. Scheme's going to matter, right? We say this every year. Receivers and corners, scheme is going to matter, the way these guys are used. Mm-hmm. I posed the question in my notes, is Christian Gonzalez just a press man corner? And even then, do you have concerns at the way he plays the catch point? My comparison for that was Marlon Humphrey. Remember Marlon Humphrey coming out of Alabama? We would say, where's the ball production? Why isn't he breaking passes up?
Yeah.
He's always at the catch point, though. And the pass breakups showed up eventually, but Marlon Humphrey was always the catch point. So I talked myself into that part for Gonzalez. I don't love him as a zone player, though, which is fair and a huge part of what corners need to do.
And there's so many plays where he's at the catch point and the ball gets through anyway. And you're like, why are you not stopping these? You're right there, and you're bigger than they are. Why are you not stopping these getting through?
Yeah, the catch point seems to be a big – so there'll be a guy that you hate that I kind of like because he's at least physical at the catch point later. There's a lot of guys in this class who are either going to get out-muscled at the catch point or just aren't great there. And I feel like that's where a lot of the size stuff is showing up, or just, in Gonzalez's case, to your point, maybe not great at it.
Devin Witherspoon allowed a passer rating into his coverage this year of 25, right? So an NFL passer rating, the average NFL passer rating at this point is 90-something. He allowed a passer rating into his coverage of 25, which is absurd. The passer rating of an incomplete pass is 39.6. The best number that Gonzalez ever allowed in college was 75 this year, and it took him 4 interceptions to get to 75. Like the previous 2 years, he didn't have any interceptions. So if you took away like the catches this year, the passer rating still would have been sky high. Like he's not actually very good at stopping the opposing receiver catching the football, which is like literally the job description.
He'll get better at it. He's at the catch point. He's at the catch point, Christian Gonzalez.
Well, now that you've assured me of that, everything changes.
So you're much lower on Christian Gonzalez.